Okay, and so thank you for joining us this Monday morning. I hope you are having or Monday afternoon, evening rather. I hope you're having a good start to the week so far. We are here to talk about the CELTA online program here with university programs. So make sure we're all here for the right thing. No? Excellent. So I'll skip this part. There we go. We're going to get to our menu here. Here we go. And so this is our menu for today. Yes, we'll talk about a little bit of who we are as far as university programs. What is the CELTA? I'm sure you've done your research, but if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those for you. And then some benefits of taking the CELTA with us at university programs. And then we have a special treat, the mini input session. So you get a little slice of what it's like when you come to an input session for our CELTA courses. And so we'll be talking about phonology and the importance of that in the classroom. Super interesting topic with Ricardo. And then we do have time for Q&A at the end, but feel free to jump in with any questions you have throughout the presentation. I'll be more than happy to answer. And of course, we do have prizes galore at the end of the session, so make sure we stick around because you do need to be here to win. Hello, Gerardo, how are you? Can you hear me? Oh, Eliberto, you can't hear me. Regina, Victor, Marcelo, can you hear me? Okay. Eliberto?
Yes, of course.
Can you hear me, Eliberto? Eliberto, can you hear me? Now that's very strange. Maybe that will help. Hello, Gerardo. Can you hear me, Gerardo?
Yeah, you can hear.
Okay, excellent. Good. Okay, I wanted to make sure that everyone else able to hear me. No, Eliberto, I hope. Okay, good. And so without any further ado, let me hop right over. So who are we as far as university programs? Oh, just joined. Carlos. Hello, Carlos. Welcome, Carlos. Can you hear me? Oh, welcome, Carlos. Welcome. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, Carlos? Okay, I hope so. Okay, well, like I was saying, university programs, we work with various institutions across Latin America. We are based out of International House, Mexico, but we provide Cambridge teacher training for, again, various institutions across Latin America, including IH Colombia, IH Peru, Argentina as well, and Chile. And so we train about 4 to 5% of all CELTA graduates every year. So we do have a lot of experience. And we were one of the first centers to also launch the 100% online course at the beginning of the pandemic. And so that's a little bit about us as far as university programs. My name's Tim. I'm the head of university programs, and again, the head of teacher training and development in IH Mexico. I'm also a Cambridge CELTA and Delta tutor, and I've played various roles at IH Mexico in the past. And then you'll get to meet Ricardo a little bit later on. It's a special treat. He's also a CELTA Delta tutor, and he's also a Cambridge assessor, as you know. Cambridge CELTA courses, every single course is moderated by Cambridge itself. And so Ricardo is actually one of the assessors that assesses CELTA courses worldwide. So again, we do have a lot of experience, not only in delivering the courses, but the administration of knowledge of the course as well. And so what is the CELTA? So again, I'm sure you've done your research here, and CELTA is one of the most sought after initial teacher training qualifications for teaching English. It does have a level 5 qualification for the British educational system. And so it's similar to a bachelor's degree, no? So I see Pamela joined us. Hello, Pamela. No, let's give her a moment to connect. Hello, Pamela. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me, Pamela? All right. And so again, 3 out of 4 employers, they actually ask for the CELTA because they understand, right? This is one of the gold standards of teaching English. And again, like I mentioned, each and every single course is moderated by Cambridge. And this means it follows a very specific criteria, and each and every single course is moderated externally. Any general questions about the CELTA that you might be wondering about or had a question about as far as the qualification goes? No questions? All right, well, if you decide you have questions, I do have Q&A at the end, but again, feel free to jump right in. And so right now I'll go over the general course aims of the CELTA, what the syllabus looks like if you take the course with us, the course components, and the timetable. Yes, and so let's take a peek here. So the aim of the CELTA course, as I mentioned, is an initial teacher training course. Not to say that if you have experience teaching that you won't get anything from the course. That's the furthest thing from the truth. But the aim of the CELTA is to lay a solid foundation for you to then build your teaching practice on. So again, if you have little or no teaching experience, that's exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to give you the theory, the methodology, right? The teaching approaches, so you could be effective in the classroom. If you already have experience teaching, again, this is a nice way to review maybe some of these approaches to teaching. And if, as life is, if you've done anything for a given amount of time, you develop habits. No, some of these habits are good, some of these habits not so good, and this is a nice way to kind of get a nice refresher on that as well. So again, whether you have little to no experience or you have experience teaching, you'll get a lot from the CELTA course. And so what is the CELTA syllabus? These are the 5 topic areas that we'll see on the course. Again, one of the greatest things about the CELTA course. You too, Carlos. Okay. Victor, Gerardo, Regina, can you still hear me? Marcelo, can you still hear me? Can you give me, yeah?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Just checking, because Carlos can't hear me either.
Yeah, everything's okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully that'll help. And so again, one of the great things about the CELTA course is not only do you learn the knowledge, the theory, the teaching approaches, yes, you also get to put them into practice and live teaching practices. And again, this is another reason why CELTA is such a sought after course by employers, because they understand that not only do you have the knowledge, but you also have the practical experience in the classroom. Yeah, so this is the syllabus that we'll see during the CELTA course. Carlos, can you hear me now? Carlos? No, hopefully you can reconnect. Any general questions about the syllabus for the CELTA course? Carlos, you can hear me.
Not, you know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, no, so far it's everything's good.
Okay. So any general questions about the CELTA course syllabus? And this is the syllabus that every CELTA course follows all around the world. No, because again, the CELTA is moderated, so it follows a very specific syllabus. And so here are the CELTA course components that you'll see. And so here we have the teaching practices. So as I'm sure you're aware, to complete the CELTA course successfully, you have to do 6 hours of live teaching. And so on our CELTA course, what we've done, right, in our online course is we've divided this into 8 45-minute teaching practice sessions. And so this is how you'll do your weekly teaching practices on your course. And you'll only meet once or twice a week, depending on full-time or part-time, but I'll go into those details in a moment, yes? But teaching practice, again, is an assessed portion of the course, and you are required to complete these 6 hours. And how this generally goes, for example, is when you meet online for your teaching practices, you would do your teaching practice, your peers would observe you, your peers would do their teaching practice, you would observe them. After we send the students home, you'll sit down with your tutor and we'll do some feedback on the lessons that were taught. After the feedback, we'll do some guided lesson planning to get you ready for the next lesson you have to teach. And if there's a written assignment to be set, that gets set right at the end of the session. And so this is what the teaching practices look like on our course to complete your 6 hours of required teaching practice. I brought up written assignments. There are 4 written assignments on the course. We do need to complete all 4 of these, but written assignments are fairly straightforward because you have 2 opportunities to submit. So if something is not quite right the first time, your tutor will leave some comments in the margins. You fix those up, you resubmit, and done deal. No? So written assignments are fairly straightforward in that aspect. And then we have some experienced teacher observation. Now, during the teaching practices, you will have a chance to work with 2 different tutors because you are required to teach at 2 different levels, yes? And so at each level, you work with a different tutor. And that's by design of the course because Cambridge wants to expose you to different learning or to different teaching styles, right? Because each person's got their own personal style. And this is to help you develop your own teaching persona. And so outside of observing your tutors doing live demonstration lessons, you'll also have some recorded experienced teacher observation. And so over the course, you're required to complete 6 hours of experienced teacher observation. And again, some of these will be live observations, and some of these will be recorded observations of experienced teachers. And to support you with the teaching practices and the written assignments, we do have the CELTA Cambridge platform that which we call the Moodle. And everything here, as far as the unit works you have to study during the week, so on and so forth, is here to support what you do in your teaching practices. And it's here to support what you do in your written assignments. And so the theory part happens online on the platform. And then the practical part happens when you meet for your teaching practices. Yes? Any general questions about the main components of the course here?
No, tenía el teléfono cargado. No, pues el
All right, no questions. Let's move on. And so again, we have 2 different timetables. The most popular and the one that I would recommend is the part-time 12-week course. And with this one, you only meet online once a week. And again, this is for your teaching practices that I described earlier. Or if you're in a hurry, we do have the full-time 6-week option. And for this one, you only meet online twice a week. And again, this is to fulfill those teaching practice hours. And outside of that once or twice a week when you meet online, you'll be able to study as far as, where did my box go? Here we go. The other days of the week, you would study the theory online. Right? And so this is the general timetables that we have here for the online CELTA course. And we do open about 2 courses a month. Yeah, we open a course about every 2 to 3 weeks. And so these are the 2 options available. Any general questions about these 2 timetables?
No.
Gerardo, did you have a question?
No, that's okay. I
No.
understood.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And so a couple reasons, right, why to take the CELTA with us. Again, we do have the flexible course options. Oh, Victor, you had a question.
Yeah, excuse me, is the fee the same as the full-time preparation course as well as the part-time?
Full-time and part-time, it's the same cost. Yep, it's the
Oh.
exact same cost. And so it's just a matter of, do you want to meet once a week for about 4 hours, or with a full-time course, that means you'll be teaching twice a week, right? And you'll meet about 4 hours. And then outside of that, we'll still have your study on the online platform.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, of course. And any other questions, you guys feel free to jump in and ask or type it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer as we go. And so again, we do have the flexible course options as far as the part-time course, which only meets once a week, yeah, for about 4 hours, or the full-time course, which meets twice a week for about 4 hours each. Yes. On top of that, when you enroll, we'll give you free access to our pre-CELTA task. And what this is, it's a nice grammar refresher. The first half of it is a grammar refresher to get you refreshed and acclimated to the terminology and basic grammar concepts that you'll need on CELTA. And then the second half of the self-study course is introduction to those 5 topic areas that we saw earlier. So when you see them on the course, you'll have an idea of what we're talking about. So you do get free access to that once you enroll. Again, outside of that, you'll have access to the Moodle platform, which has all the unit work to support you for your teaching practices and your written assignments. It also has a CELTA library with tons of textbooks and resources and course books and reference materials. And in addition to the online study, we have 2 optional CELTA masterclass input sessions each week. And so this is to help complement and supplement the key content on the Moodle website from the self-study. But if you have questions or needed clarification, we put together these input sessions so you could be there with a tutor to get your questions answered, to get clarifications and interact with your peers. Yeah, so these are optional, but again, especially on the full-time course, very, very helpful because it may cut down on some of the reading because you'll be in the classroom to get this input session. And of course, at the end of each course, we do have a job session. And what this is, the first part of the session, yeah, we go over how to find jobs in the industry, how to put together your CV and some career advice, things to expect on a TEFL interview, right? And then at the end, we work with several organizations that help recruit and place teachers in places like the US. We have a company that works for the USA that places teachers in accredited state schools because it's through the State Department. We have another organization that works in placing teachers in China as well. And then we have a new one that I just spoke with earlier that is looking for teachers in Vietnam. And of course, if we have any local schools here in Mexico that are looking for a job, they might pop in and advertise that as well. So again, this is all included as part of your CELTA course, right? It doesn't cost anything extra. And talking about these CELTA masterclass input sessions, I know that's what you guys are here for. And so here we're going to take a quick peek. And again, these masterclass input sessions are usually about 90 minutes. And so we're going to do a very condensed version of this in about 20-25 minutes, just so you can get a taste of what these input sessions are. And so our resident expert on phonology, we have Ricardo Fajardo here with us. And so I will stop sharing my screen so he can take over. So yes, Ricardo, thank you for being here. And thank you for your session today.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me? Can you just checking?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Thank you very much. And if possible, I mean, we didn't ask, but if possible, those who can open their cameras, that would be great. If not, as Tim said, no worries. So normally what happens in input sessions, guys, we get, yes, CELTIs to interact with each other. We help them, yes, raise awareness of the different areas of teaching and learning. So this is just a taste of what we do. We cannot do everything in 20-25 minutes, but I will give you an idea of the kind of activities we do. All right. Let me share my screen and let's discuss something together. So this is pronunciation. So it's something important, right? Carlos, can you hear me, Carlos? Can you hear me, Carlos? I think you are muted. Can you open your microphone, Carlos?
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes. You are cutting a bit,
Okay.
so no worries.
Okay.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
you're cutting a bit.
your audio is a little faulty, but that's the way
Yes.
I'm being.
No worries,
Okay.
no worries.
I
Thank
can
you.
hear you fine, but there's some fault.
Don't worry, don't worry. I'll get back to you. Regina, can you hear me? All right, very good. If you can open your microphone, Regina.
Yes.
Yes, Regina, so I have this first question. How often do you think we should work on pronunciation with students, Regina? What do you think?
Well, I think students must work on it really often because it's the only way that the teachers know how their pronunciation are.
Correct. Yes, thank you very much. Gerardo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I have trouble with the camera because
Don't worry. Don't worry, Gerardo.
I
So Gerardo, in your opinion, when students are learning pronunciation, what are typical difficulties that they face, you think, Gerardo?
what I have experienced with my students, most of the time they have trouble with the Spanish interference.
Okay.
Like they tend to feel very often the instead of the I with the E, and this is one of the most difficult mistakes.
All right, yes. They have different difficulties. Sometimes they are not familiar with sounds, guys. Sometimes they are not familiar with different phonological features. So it's our responsibility to provide, yes, both exposure and practice of phonological feature. That's our responsibility, right? Marcelo, can you hear me? Is your microphone working now? No, it's not working. I can see your face. Yes, you're frustrated, Marcelo. Yes. Victor, can you hear me?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. So, Victor, in any lesson, when can we practice pronunciation? Should we practice pronunciation in a lesson or outside a lesson, Victor?
Basically, it's up to the class because, for example, today I had to give an explanation about past simple tense with both regular and irregular verbs. And you see, for some students, especially for the Spanish ones, sometimes they make mistakes in pronouncing the ed ending sounds.
Yeah.
So it's basically a thing throughout the class, but at the same time, we tend to practice by listening to some music, of course, some pieces of music at the same time. I think the core of the problem might be that students try to translate at the same time they are speaking or they are producing English.
Right. Yeah, that's quite true. Thank you very much. Gerardo, coming back to you. Yes, like, do you think that we need to give students some practice, real practice? And do you think that we need special techniques when we teach pronunciation, Gerardo?
I'm not sure if special techniques, but I think for the practice, I get students pronounce correctly with the real, for example, with the Oxford dictionary, the application, and then I recommend them to use YouTube a lot with real English pronunciation from TV shows like, for example, the Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
Where
Yes.
they
You mentioned
Listen.
something important, which is exposure. And you mentioned things like videos, like YouTube. But I think it's also very important to provide exposure in the classroom when we are teaching. Something that we do, let me stop sharing, guys. Something that we do sometimes in the classroom when we are teaching grammar especially, is that we focus a little bit too much on the grammar. Oh, this is the subject, this is the auxiliary, this is etc. But we do not focus on phonological features. So we need to help our students identify features so they can use these more effectively when we are practicing. So for example, guys, let me show you an example of something that I would do and something that we can actually do with our students when we are teaching, yes, pronunciation. This is just a mini demo of what we need to think about, yes, when we are teaching pronunciation. Can you all see my whiteboard, please?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Okay, let me copy paste this. Yes. So imagine, guys, that I'm teaching, yes, conditionals. This is an example of conditionals. So I would like you to be my students just for some minutes, and I would like you to follow my instructions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right.
Thank you very much. Yes. Okay, guys. So listen to me. Listen to my voice. Please do not repeat. Just listen to me. And I want you to identify if I use contractions in these sentences. Don't repeat. Just hear and identify possible contractions. Here I go. Number one, if I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. I shall repeat. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. Number two, if I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. Number two again, if I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. Regina, did I use contractions, Regina?
Yes.
Which contractions did I use in number one?
Do they have?
Okay, so here I use I'd, if I'd.
And I would have had.
Yes, okay, yes, thank you. This one we say would have. Okay, guys, please now listen to me and repeat using the contracted form. Please do not speak out loud. Close your microphones. I want to see your lips moving. Okay, here we go. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. Please say it. I see your lips moving. Fantastic. Very good. Gerardo, can you open your microphone and say it, please?
Yeah, if I studied more grammar, I could have had a better score.
Fantastic. I will do the same with number two, just for you to remember. If I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. Gerardo, did I use contractions here?
I didn't hear correctly.
Don't worry, here I go again. If I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed.
Yeah, correct. You use contraction.
Which contractions? Okay, again, I'd. And then?
And then good enough, good enough.
Yes, that's one of my favorite contractions. It's like two contractions for the price of one, right? So good enough. All right, so again, I will say the sentence, guys. Close your microphones. I want to see your lips moving. If I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. Say it, please. Okay, excellent. Yes, I see your lips moving. Victor, can you help me? Can you say number two, please? Can you open your mic?
Of course. If I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed.
Okay, very good. Yes. Now, guys, next thing. I will say the sentences again. Pay attention to the words that I stress. Again, don't repeat. Just pay attention to the words that I stress. Listen to me again. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. Regina, which words did I stress, you think?
Do they have?
I cannot hear you, Regina. Can you try again?
I could have.
Can you hear Regina, guys, or is it just me?
Sounds like she was cutting out.
Yes. Okay, no worries, Gerardo. Which words did I stress, Gerardo?
I guess study more grammar.
Okay, studied, yes. Grammar, yes. Two more words.
And then the second could have had.
Had. And one more.
Will score.
Score. Thank you, guys. Now, I want you to think about these guys. What kind of words are these? Are they nouns, prepositions? What kind of words are they?
The past participle verb.
Okay, yes, verbs. Thank you very much. So main verbs are important.
Now,
And the other kind of words, guys?
Noun.
Nouns, thank you.
Nouns.
Generally speaking, guys, main verbs and nouns are very important. Based on these, which words maybe I should emphasize in number 2, Victor?
I think you English lessons paid. The first one is
Okay,
auxiliary,
English lessons, this is one, yeah?
auxiliary verb paid,
Yes, main verb paid, yes.
failed.
attention.
And failed. Yes, and if you want to really emphasize even good enough, because
Yeah, good enough.
negatives are important too. So this is the kind of things that we need to help our students identify when we are teaching grammar, because sometimes we are teaching the grammar, but we are not teaching the phonological features that accompany the grammar. Okay, again, guys, for the last time, please close your microphones. I will say both sentences. Please, contracted forms and stress. Okay, here I go. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. Say it. Number 2, if I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. Say it. All righty. Okay. Question, Gerardo. I see a comma. If I see a comma, should I pause or should I not pause? What do you think?
Well, when there's a comma, I guess you should pause.
Yes. And that pause, guys, is also very important because it means we need to use rising intonation here and falling intonation at the end. Our voice, yes. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. So rising, falling. So every time you see that, yes, pause there, we also need to pay attention to intonation. 3 features, guys. Last time, contracted forms, stress, intonation. Close your microphones, guys. If I studied more grammar, I would have had a better score. Say it. Number 2, if I pay more attention in my English lessons, I wouldn't have failed. All righty, guys. So this is the relevance of teaching pronunciation, guys. Let me stop sharing. If you want to maybe get a screenshot of this or maybe a photograph, yes, please feel free to do it. You have 5 seconds before I stop sharing my screen. All righty. So as I said, this is very important because when we are teaching grammar, we also need to help our students identify phonological features. And part of what we do in the CELTA course, guys, this is just a mini example. We need to help you identify those features that are relevant, because every single time we teach grammar, every single time we teach vocabulary, we need to also identify 2 or 3 different phonological features that are usually, yes, working together with grammar. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah. Victor, maybe an obvious question, Victor. What
Yes.
happens if I don't teach or if I don't help my students identify these phonological features, Victor? What do you think happens?
Well, first of all, I think the students might get confused by the way they read and they pronounce this, for example, auxiliary verb. And of course, they should have some mispronunciation. At the same time, they don't have some intonation, the correct intonation. And well, that's it, no?
Yes, and basically, Victor, you're saying, I mean, we are not preparing our students, yes, to produce English more effectively. And this is something that students need to do, guys, because by the time we expect our students to use a target language or grammar, in this case, yes, ideally, yes, their accuracy will improve at least a little bit, right? So this is in 20 minutes, guys. What we normally do in a big lesson. Sometimes we have 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes, guys. It's basically two things that we do in input sessions. Number one, we, yes, discuss like those mini questions we had. We do a lot of discussion for CELTA trainees to identify the relevance of doing different things in the classroom. And also we do mini demos, just like the one I did, for you to see how to implement this when you are teaching, because sometimes the theory alone, yes, could be a little bit tricky. So our input sessions, more often than not, include mini demos, and you will say that, I remember how Ricardo did this. When I teach grammar in my teaching practice number 3 or 4, I have an idea of how to incorporate, yes, my theory into the practice when I'm teaching. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So again, guys, it's only 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I hope that this gives you an idea of what we normally do in an input session. Thank you for your kind attention. Tim, back at you.
Thank you so much. That's amazing how you're able to squeeze so much information into just 20, 25 minutes. But again, guys, that's just a taste of what you would see in a normal input session. Obviously, the input sessions are a little bit longer, so he has a little bit more time to explain, go into details. Yes, I agree with you, Victor. Round of applause. Very, very well done. And my comment as far as phonology goes, whenever I heard my students say, oh, no, they talk too fast, I can't understand. It's because they're not aware of these phonological features like contractions, like intonations to help them. So it's not just speaking. This also helps with the listening side as well, which I found really, really interesting. And so did you guys have any questions for Ricardo about the session he gave? It's a beautiful session there. Any questions? Comments? No. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ricardo. And again, there you go. Can you guys see my screen there? Yes. All right. And so again, I promised you guys prizes galore. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you here. So I have 4 prizes to give away. Yes. So there's 6 of you here. Your odds of winning are pretty darn good, you guys. So thanks for sticking around. I know we had some technical issues, but Eliberto, I'm glad you could hear. Marcelo, I saw you connect and reconnect. Can we hear you now? Do you have a microphone? Oh, no, we still can't hear you. Okay, well, nonetheless, thank you so much for,
Yes, here I am.
hey, there you are. Excellent
Yeah.
success at last. Excellent.
I'm here at
excellent.
last.
Well, welcome again. No, but again, I have 4 prizes here to give away. So if you win, you get an option 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if all 4 of you choose the same option, that's okay. No, but each winner gets to choose an option. So again, I have 4 prizes to give away to 4 people, and if you win, you could choose any of these options. So option 1 is a customized CV revision with one of our experts and tutors. Yes, option 2 is a subscription to our continued professional development webinar series, and so for the rest of the year for 2023. Option 3 is 50% off online English classes, and this would be for high level, right, for teachers, for non-native speakers. Yes, which includes free access to live study platform. And option 4, if any of you are preparing or wanting to take the IELTS, we offer the IELTS preparation course as an option as well. And you do need to be here to win, which you guys are here. Sorry, Eliberto. So maybe it's just me. Can everyone else hear me okay? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and so in order to claim these prizes, you do need to register for a CELTA online course with us within the next 6 months, right? And so it doesn't have to be right away if it's something you're thinking about. And so let me share, I think, can you guys see my spinning wheel? I think I have everyone's name here. If I do not have your name here, please let me know so I could add it. Everyone's name is here. Okay. In that case, let's see who our first winner will be. It looks like Gerardo. Congratulations, Gerardo. You are winner number 1. So again, think about which option you would like to take. All right, let's go for number 2. Victor, congratulations, winner number 2. So again, think about which prize you want to take. All right, here we go, rolling, rolling. Who's our next winner? Who's that, Marcelo? Regina. By this much, Regina, congratulations. So think about which prize that you would like. And it looks like we got one for Marcelo. So again, to the 4 winners, Gerardo, Victor, Regina, Marcelo, think about which prize you want. Carlos and Eliberto, not a total loss because everyone is a winner. And so Eliberto, and if you won a prize, when you register or enroll for a CELTA online course, the CELTA focuses on how to teach English. And you get a certificate that says you know how to teach English to adults. Of course, you'll be delivering your lessons online, but that's where CELTA leaves off. And after the course, you may get hired to teach online courses. You may have to worry about synchronous teaching, asynchronous teaching, managing content platforms. And so this is a course, the online teaching course, we normally sell separately, but we will include this as part of your CELTA if you join and enroll in the course in the next 6 months. And so on top of that, and this does not come around very often, everybody, yes, the 4 winners and Carlos, everybody, you can get 10% off of your course. Now for this, you do need to register within 72 hours. Yeah, the course could be within the next 6 months. We just need to register within 72 hours. And these discounts do not come around very often, and so you definitely want to take advantage of this. And so here are the course dates. They only go until about halfway through the year. Of course, I have dates for the rest of the year as well. They just didn't fit here. On the left-hand side, I have our part-time courses. Again, these are the courses that meet once a week online for about 4 hours. And then I also have here in the middle, the start dates for our full-time courses. Again, I do have dates for courses that start later in the year. They just didn't fit here on the slide. So if you have questions about that, let me know. And I know we're here for the online CELTA, but if you happen to be or want to travel to Riviera Maya or Mexico City, we will be doing face-to-face courses as well. That's the same price. Obviously, the timetable will differ a little bit, but if you have questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer. And so again, if you register within the next 72 hours, you will get that 10% off of your CELTA course, again, which does not happen very often. So please keep that into consideration. Again, when you enroll, we will give you the free access to the pre-CELTA preparation to, again, help you refresh the grammar, the terminology, and introduce you to the topic areas of the course. Yes. You get the teaching online course absolutely free. That's usually a $300 course, but we're going to include this with your CELTA. So at the end, not only will you have a CELTA certificate that says you know how to teach English, you'll also have a teaching online certificate that shows you know how to teach online. And of course, within the next 72 hours, you'll get all this, including immediate access to your preview test, right? And right into your interview. And so any general questions I could answer for anybody about the course, the timetable, different dates. And if you want, again, grab a screenshot of this because I will come back here very quickly. So the Gerardo, Victor, Regina, Marcelo, you can take a look at this here as well, right? To think about which prize you want to take advantage of. And so if you know which option, go ahead, Gerardo.
Yeah, in addition to this course, which is the CELTA, there is another one in between apart from the Delta course. So there are just the only two courses around the world.
Well, in between the CELTA and the Delta, yes, there is a course called the IHCAM, the Certificate of Advanced Methodology, which is not exactly a Delta preparation, but it's very similar, right? It helps you read up on the topics you'll see on Delta, and it does help you prepare for Delta from the theory perspective. And so that would be the course that you might consider going from CELTA to Delta.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, yeah. And Victor, I see option number 3 for you, so I'll make a note of that here. And again, Marcelo, Regina, you let me know. No, Regina left, that's okay. Gerardo, you too, let me know which option you like, or if you need to think about it, that's okay too. I have your name here, and so we'll be able to get in touch with you.
Yeah, so I'm still thinking about it.
Of course, of course. And just to make sure I have your email address as well. I should, if you registered, which you should have to get the link, I should have your email address. No. Let me stop recording here just because I'm answering questions.